You're on.
Exodus 32:7. The Lord said to Moses, Go get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. You'll notice what the Lord said, your people. You know. Now, the NIV doesn't say your people here. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. It says, because your people whom you have brought up out of Egypt have become corrupt. Then the Lord said to Moses. Okay, so what I'm pointing to today is that people can get so used to living in corruption that they are prone to it. The problem with America today is that they're so used to corruption they expect it. You know, this some black lady, she was talking about I think it was Mitt Romney at the time, back during the last election. She was calling Romney communist. Now, I know Romney's a lot of things, but he's not communist. He's nowhere close to being communist. Communists are people who forces their will on you and corrupts your constitution, causes everything that you have and what your opinion is to be suppressed, and so that they have total reign. They have total reign over everything that you are. Okay? And this is what happens when the farther you get away from God, the more this principle takes place in your life. Psalms 9:17 says, every man and nation that forgets God, every people and every nation that forgets God shall be turned into destruction. This is an automatic thing. This is a law that God has set up. When He created the earth, this law became into effect. And the proof was with Adam and Eve when they fell from grace in the garden. They no longer had life. Instant destruction came to them. As soon as they ate the fruit, they realized they were naked. It was instant. It was instantaneous. And same thing with the people here in America. They have became so used to living in corruption, they think it's normal. They think it's a good thing. And just like the Bible said, in the last days, people would call evil good and good evil. And they are doing just that today. They're calling evil good and good evil. They think Hillary Clinton is the way to go. And they have the FBI, even though there is 11 different federal charges they could bring her up on, they have said, oh, this is just bad conduct. Well, what do you think breaking law is? Breaking laws is bad conduct. The conduct gets so bad that it's illegal. And people are used to it. The media is still trying to make her look like smell like a rose, look like a pearl. The most beautiful, innocent thing ever was. And the guy that has never broken any laws, they're trying to paint him as the devil, as the evil clown It. They're trying to make him look like the ghoul of society. Now you tell me that's not calling evil good and good evil. That's exactly what it is. And so men have gotten used to that standard and have been living in it so much. You know, back during the slave days, when the Emancipation Proclamation was called, signed by Abraham Lincoln, that declared every slave legally free. Every slave was declared legally free. And when that happened, Not every slave went free. Well, what happened? Well, a lot of those slaves loved living in slavery so much that they didn't leave it. They didn't leave it. When their kids grew up, they went away, and these slaves were called bondservants because they had such a bond. America the bondservant. Give me that paper, babe. I'm going to write that down. That's going to be my heading for today. I need a pen. I'm always looking for a pen right here and ain't got one. Man, I come prepared. Yes, sir. No, I do this because I want these things to come from my heart. I could give you a 1, 2, 3 sermon, you know. America the bondservant. You could have just wrote that down for me.
I only sleep for a little while.
You're my bondservant, aren't you?
Yeah, but you try to kill me.
But see, that's what it is. It's kind of like a marriage. Well, you know, in a marriage, you're mutually respected. But a bondservant isn't necessarily. A bondservant has no rights in a slave relationship. They have no rights in a slave relationship. And I don't care who it is. Every time you look at the example of Joseph, when they went down into the to the city, to Egypt, when they went down there, they came in as guests. And they came in as a special guest because Joseph was he was a servant in Pharaoh's house. He was number 2 in the kingdom. Well, he brought his family in, who were the Jews, the Hebrew. God blessed them and multiplied them, and they gained many people, in so much that there was millions of them. But they were Jews. They were the family. But slowly over the years, this family became slaves to Egypt. They came in as guests, and they became slaves over a period of time. That's what when there is no contract between you and them, like it was in Egypt with Israel, they became slaves. Why? Because human nature, the progression of human nature says these people owe me something. They are no longer guests. They are no longer welcome guests, but they are just here free loafing, and they owe us something. And slowly down through the ages of time, 400 years they were there, they became slaves in that place. And same thing will happen in this country. The people that are in power without a constitution in America, they will say that these people owe me something. They're living out there free loafing, got all that money, while we're sitting over here doing without. We don't have as many Cadillacs and dinner parties, and we don't have orgies in the White House like the Clintons used to do and stuff like that. And they need to give up some of that money, and slowly over a period of time. Now, if you think I'm lying, go do a study on Detroit, Michigan, how it got to be the way that it is today. A city of 2.5 million people, dwindled down, getting close to 500,000 people now. They're getting close to only 500,000 people, 500,000 or 600,000 in the city of Detroit, in that whole city of Detroit. That means there's like 3 out of 5 houses that are empty. Detroit's trying to tear those cities down, but it was corrupt, or not the city, but the houses, the empty houses, because they don't want people to come in and see how empty the city is and how embarrassed they are by the liberal policies that have brought them to where they are. And those people there, they're used to living on government surplus. That's all they live on. They pour billions of dollars into that city every year. It's like pouring it down a hole. Our government is putting money into a place that is just burning up. It's its bank account. They're just burning it up. There are so many criminals there. The criminals, you know, they made a movie of the future, and in this movie it was displayed as the city of Detroit, and the criminals had taken the place over. I got news for you. That is not a future event. That is not a future event. That has already taken place. Criminals have taken that place over. Through liberal policies, criminals have and that's what it does. They get so used to living in corruption that they love it. And just like Israel here, now listen to this. Israel was set free. They came out. God showed them. He was presently with them. These people aren't looking for God. These kinds of people, they're not looking for God. They're looking for corruption. They're looking for reasons to corrupt themselves. You know what, man? I've talked to hundreds. I bet you over 1,000 liberals that I've talked to. Some of them scholars, some of them not very smart. But all of their reasoning comes from one common factor among all of them. They don't want to know God. They don't want to know God. They want to corrupt themselves. They want to be free to corrupt themselves and everything around them. They say Christianity is a danger to the whole world. And if you'll notice here, if you read this story of where Moses came down, the people corrupt themselves, the land opened up and swallowed a bunch of those people that were doing that. Came from the famous saying, who is on the Lord's side? Let him come over here. And all those people came over there. And the other ones thought, yeah, we're walking out of here free. No. The ground opened up. God opened the ground and swallowed them. And that's because God wanted you to know that's what happens to people who corrupt themselves, who dwindle toward that bondservant forever type of mentality. No. You are free. You are free. The Bible says, in whom the Lord is set free is free indeed. If you don't go take part in your freedom, slavery will continue. There's, you know what, this is the most ironic thing I've ever seen in my life. Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation bill set millions of black slaves free. But today they're fighting. They are fighting to get back into the same situation that they got out of during the Civil War. Isn't that something? That is really, really something. All right. God bless you. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next time right here across in the Middle Ministry.